Hi and welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast. I'm Zoe Whitman. I'm in South Wales. I'm joined by Jo Wood in Kent. Hi Jo, how are you?
Hi Zoe, yeah, I'm really good, thanks, really good. Last day of our isolation period today, so I can go out into the world tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that. And the sun is shining, it's stopped raining, so it's all good here. How are you doing?
I'm pleased to hear your isolation's coming to a finish. That was unexpected and probably a bit frustrating, but I'm pleased everyone's okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I'm going camping this weekend and I'm wondering where the sun has gone. So we'll see what happens with that. Today, we're really excited to be joined by Kathryn from your local bookkeeper. Kathryn is one of the members of our 6-month success program, and Kathryn has niched her business. And we thought it'd be really nice to have a chat today about niching, because we talk about it a lot. And I think for a lot of people, it can feel quite daunting and people wonder why it's worthwhile. So I'm really excited to have a conversation about this. Kathryn, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, just wondering where the sun has gone as well. It keeps popping in, but it's raining, isn't it? Let's face it, it's miserable.
Where's the summer gone? Oh, well, I'm really excited to have you on the podcast today. Thanks so much for fitting us in. I think this was one of those like stepping out of your comfort zone things as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. I had to have a couple of pep talks from some friends who are probably listening, so they know who they are, just to kind of step out and do it. And yeah, but I'm here, so very excited to be here.
We're so proud of you. We're so proud of you. So, as we said, you've been in our 6-month success program for a while, and last night we did a Q&A in our group, and you're quite confident when we're in those kind of groups. What do you think was the fear? What was the fear about coming onto a podcast today?
Well, I've never been on a podcast, number one. And I think in reality, I know it's just talking with you guys, and we talk all the time. As you say, we spoke last night. But yeah, it's streaming, it's free for everyone to have a look at, and it's quite putting myself out there. So yeah, it's good. You need to step out of your comfort zone occasionally.
And you've done amazing, and your friends have done a great job. And I know you've done your breathing exercises and your power poses, and you are ready. And we're really, really proud of you for coming on. And we love to speak to our bookkeepers that are in our community, because you're the ones doing the work, speaking to the clients, growing. And so tell us a bit about your business. How long have you been in business for?
Okay, so I've been in business now as your local bookkeeper for about 3 years. Long story short, I used to work in corporate banking, in restructuring and recoveries, which was quite hard work. I actually had some time off of that, which is when I decided to retrain as a bookkeeper. I then went back, and that really thankfully was made redundant when I went on maternity leave. So it was perfect timing to then, I was qualified as a bookkeeper. It was perfect timing to start my own business once my son went to preschool, to nursery. And so that was about 3 years ago. I started as kind of your local bookkeeper, thinking that I would niche in the local area. But it's definitely developed into that, and yeah, I've been doing it about 3 years, and it's going really well.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I love what you said about like noticing that it was like a bit of a blessing to have that redundancy. I think sometimes it's just like these things come along and you're like, actually, this is the right time for me to do that. So it's really exciting to hear about this, the success that you've made of the business so far. Tell me about the niching part of it. Like, what was it that made you decide to niche?
Okay, so one of the reasons that I wanted to become a bookkeeper was firstly for my own hours, and to work around my son. And then secondly, I'd worked in this restructuring and recoveries world where, quite frankly, we kind of made people's lives a bit of a misery. It was a hard job, it was calling in debt, and morally it was quite hard. So I thought I actually had a meeting with a business coach who kind of flipped this for me and said, well, why don't you go and help people not get in that situation? So that was sort of my primary role as a bookkeeper originally. And then in terms of niching, though, actually it was from the stuff that I've done with the Six-Figure Bookkeeper that I had this kind of glowing realization that I needed to do something that I actually cared about. So my niche is I look after purpose-led, ethical and sustainable businesses. So that's things from charities and just generally people that want to make a change to the planet. And I had this realization that I do it in my personal life. I'm obsessed with it in my personal life. And I need to reflect that in my business.
I think that's so amazing, because especially with your background story, with being in a job that didn't sit right with your morals and was making you unhappy because you were going against what was truly what you felt. So now to take ownership and say, I don't have to work with those kind of people anymore. I can run this business how I want to run it. And really thinking about, I love that you've not, because even though it's kind of not industry niche, we talk about this all the time. It doesn't necessarily, when we say niche, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a certain industry. It can be a feeling, it could be personality driven of the clients that you want to be with. It could be that you only want to work with single mother business owners, that they could run any type of business ever, but it could be that kind of thing. But what you've done is gone with, I want to work with people that want to do good in the world, and that's what I'm really passionate about in my day to day. And I want to help those type of people. That's just amazing. I'm so pleased that we were able to help you find that, because obviously that's got to make you happier working with those kind of people. What kind of difference does it make to your life working with your niche?
So don't get me wrong, I do have clients that are outside of that niche as well. Initial clients that I took on that I will not be getting rid of. They've done me great, but to work with, I really feel like I found my tribe, and to work with people that have the same ethics as me, the same goals, it just makes such a difference to my life. It makes me feel so happy that to know that there's other people out there that don't feel like you're fighting a dead end fight for the planet. I truly believe that businesses can make a difference, and that's what I want to help people do. So actually, regardless of people's sector, if they want to make even the smallest bit of difference, then I'm happy to work with them, because they don't know what they don't know. And all my current clients will tell you that I often bang on to them about sustainability and should you be buying that, and have you thought about carbon footprint and all those sorts of things. So yeah, I just really feel like I found my tribe of people.
Oh, I love that. Now, I know, because we're connected on Instagram, and I know that you live and breathe sustainability, because Kathryn convinced me to download Tree app this week, I think, which allows you to plant trees for free. And I know about that because I know that you, I don't want to say go on and on and on, because it isn't like that. Yeah. But this is deeply ingrained in who you are, and that you share this outwardly. And so if I was in that space, and I'm someone who cares about the environment, and but maybe I'm not as active as you are, but even you're just able to appeal to that little part of me, that there's enough influence for me to go and download an app. I remember you saying to me about Starling Bank, I think, will plant a tree for you if you open an account. Yeah. This is all stuff I've learned from you, Kathryn. I am not your client, but I can see that just by you having this sort of conversation outwards, you're able to connect with people. Is it part of your marketing strategy do you add extra things into what you do from a sustainability point of view to speak to your clients?
Yes and no. I think I've definitely moved towards a more focusing on those clients and things that they might like to engage with on Instagram's my main platform, or LinkedIn. But actually, I genuinely would do those things anyway. So my bank is with Starling, who are, the main reason I'm with them is they don't invest in fossil fuels. So, if everyone moved to a bank that doesn't invest in fossil fuels, what an amazing difference we could make. Things like pension providers, I think I've spoken about on Instagram. And they're all things that I do anyway. So a great example in this is, depending on how many people are on the conversation, I want to plant a tree, because even streaming this video creates so much carbon. And it obviously less than if we met in person with the car, but it still creates a lot of carbon, and everything we can do to make a difference matters at the moment, because we're in a really critical time for the planet.
See, and this is the thing, your niche, your passion is just you, and you are your superpower with regards to this and with regards to marketing. And I think people get confused about the fact that they feel that they have to be something different to be in that niche. But actually, the best thing to do is find something that you love. So actually, yesterday, I was laughed at in, so as you know, my niche is the beauty salon world. And when I was in a group yesterday and someone shared a picture in the group, and I knew, and some people are going to hate this, and I'm sorry, but I knew that the picture was of a really big spot that'd been popped, right? And I looked at
My other favourite hobby.
Exactly. And I looked at it and I said, well, this is just rude. Where's the video? And then all the salon owners are like, Joe, you are so in the wrong industry. And I'm like, I know, I said, there's not enough bodily fluids and stuff in accountancy. I need to get my kick in here. So it's so funny because I love what they do. And I most probably could be a salon owner myself, because I love I love everything about it, and I'm on their same vibe. So when they're talking about things and showing their videos and things that other people go, oh, that's gross, I'm like, oh, I'm so out here for this. And yes, I can tell you about your VAT as well while I'm here. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're just being you. It's not hard work, because that's who you are. And I think that's why we say to people, think about what you enjoy, think about what you're doing anyway, what makes you get up out of bed and gets you excited on a Saturday morning when you're going to go and do something that's not to do with work. What is that kind of thing? Did you though, Kathryn?
So that's
yes, we do. We do too. We've got our high vises and our litter picks in here. We've got a great community, and we go out at the weekends. We've got one coming up soon actually, and I love it. But exactly, it does. If that's what you're getting up and doing at the weekend, and that's just what you want to do, then that's perfect. The industry. Did you though, when we started talking about this to you in the 6-month success program, initially, did you think, niching, why would I want to do that? That's a bit scary. Did you have that kind of any reservations?
I did. And I think everyone will have the reservation of how am I going to get any clients out of this? I'm just starting up. I know there was a question in the Q&A last night of, I'm just starting up. How do I sort of tell this potential client that they're not my ideal client? And it's really scary. But I do think that, I think Joe actually might have said it in one of the trainings, is that you can have your ideal client and that's who you're striving to get and marketing for. But actually, if you've got a few others that are ticking along and keeping you going in your business, there's nothing wrong with that. And sort of your ideal client attracts your ideal client. And I think as I've started marketing in that sector, I've definitely picked up more clients, more people have been coming to me, but also my clients that aren't in that sector know that they're not my target client. They know that I like sustainability and sort of ethical businesses. So they would refer me on that basis as well. And so I would say that just because you've got a niche, it's not, you don't have to stick to it all the time. As long as I don't go off and for an oil baron or something, I think I'm okay.
No, I love that. No, I think one of the big benefits of niching is that it helps you just get really focused. Like, there's so much you can do in terms of marketing. How do you decide where to spend your energy? Well, actually, if you know that you're speaking to a particular audience, then you can get yourself in front of those people, and then other clients will come. But it just means that you can be really targeted in what you're doing, and it's just more efficient, I think. So where are you finding your clients? You're getting clients from referral from existing clients. What's working for you at the moment?
So I started, just going back to kind of the finding your niche, I started in the local groups and the LinkedIn and local business groups. That might be, I don't know, a plumber or a window cleaner we spoke about last night. And I wasn't getting anywhere. Then they weren't picking up on me, or they weren't the same sort of vibe that I was going for. And then I made this decision that actually I'm in all these sustainability and green ethical groups anyway. Why aren't I touting my business to them? And I actually was really encouraged. I joined a kind of networking group in my local area, which is run by someone in sustainability. That happens to be my neighbour, and then he introduced me to some other people as well, and I've done a few kind of free Facebook groups which I've then got in for, that I pay for, and actually those people, as I said before, those people are my tribe, so I'm not really selling to them, because I want to be speaking to them and I want to be dealing with them, and they've helped me in so many ways as well. So now I'm really finding my business on Instagram and Facebook groups.
That's good. And I think Facebook groups are a great place, aren't they, to just be part of the community. Do you do any like workshops or any kind of sessions for those people?
I've got some coming up. They know who they are. I've definitely got some coming up. So they've asked me to present on cash flows. What else am I doing? Like business basics. A lot of people that I've come across don't have software in place, so maybe some software training. So yeah, there's a few things coming up, and that will all be based on how to grow your ethical business and how to make your finances work to do that.
I think it's fascinating because so I bank with Starling, and I tell my clients to bank with Starling, but I didn't know that about what you said. And I think the fact is that there's so much education that can be done through, and even people that wouldn't necessarily label themselves as a sustainability, advocate. Lots of people are interested to learn more, and we've definitely said as well, since we've become a completely virtual business, obviously our footprint's better. I used to drive to the office. I used to have offices and all that. I said, well, we have actually made a bit of an impact, but I don't always know what the next step is to do. So I think you hit quite a lot of people's target market, because people are going to be looking at and thinking, wow, that's such an extra added bonus because you're just interested. And like me, for the beauticians, I'm a customer. So I'm often saying, yeah, but this is what I like. This is what I'd like you to tell. I'd like you to tell me more about your services, because I'm a novice and I have no idea about this aesthetic stuff that you talk about, but I see it on Instagram, but do you do that? So we can add this extra element when we niche, because we can add the personal touch to it. And that education that you've got is like invaluable. I mean, it's for anybody. And I think really you should talk. I need to follow you on Instagram and learn more.
It really is a whole nation, like global issue as well. Every single business should hopefully be interested in what I'm talking about. We've just had a pandemic. Like, no one wants to go back into another pandemic in 5 years' time. But unfortunately, because of the way that we treat the planet and animals and the way that humans work, it's possible. And so many businesses were struck down by the pandemic, didn't have cash flows in place, things like that. And unfortunately, unless we make without going on about the sustainability too much, unless we make a serious change, we're going to come across these things time and time again. You know, wildfires, floods, so much flooding at the moment impacting businesses. Pandemics is just, they're going to be lots more of that sort of thing. And if we continue the way we are, and I really believe that businesses can make a difference, so sectors can make a difference. So if there's one innovation in, say, plumbing, and all the plumbers start to use it, great, that makes a huge difference. And also locally, community projects are so important to keep people going. And I do some work voluntarily for a community centre, and the projects that they have are so invaluable to everyone, and they all make a difference as well. So yeah, everyone should be interested in being more sustainable and more ethical in the way they work.
I think what you're doing comes at a really good time. You know, I think it's on so many of our radars, like I mentioned about planting trees and stuff. It's just not something that I would think, oh, there's a way that I can do this for free by watching an advert every day. You know, it's like being able to just like connect in that small way with people who think, I do want to do something, but actually it feels so big that I don't know how I can make a change. And just you sharing that message, actually, even if you're targeting, you know, ethical, sustainable businesses, I think there's an element of that side of the personality with so many people, even if they aren't, I don't know, traditionally a sustainable business. Everyone or a lot of people want to be more sustainable. So that's going to talk to a lot of people. Do you think that, I'm just thinking about things like carbon accounting, and I'm like, oh, there's so much you could do with your business. Yeah. Do you think that, have you thought about the opportunities for growing your business in the future from this base?
No, in short. I'd really like to maybe move into more of a consulting sort of role to help people do that. But I like doing bookkeeping, and I am limited on time. You know, I've got family, and actually I don't want to run a stressful job again. But I do think that carbon accounting, wow, that's a whole nother level. So
sorry, you know what my ideas are like. I'm like, yeah. I've just built you a massive corporation, Kathryn.
But definitely, like, just getting people to understand their cash and the impact that their investments can make. Pensions is a great example of that, because if you're investing in oil in your pension, you know, if everyone's investing, I don't know, 40, 50 grand in a pension, that targets oil and tobacco and has companies that have child labour, you probably want to move that, you know, and that will make a huge difference if suddenly everyone started investing in wind farms.
Wow. See, I'm clueless, Kathryn. I am ashamed to admit it, but I don't know where my pension is investing in or anything like that. It's just not. Most people don't. So you've definitely brought some awareness to us, and maybe, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but in our Six Figure Bookkeepers Club, I'd love it if you were to come in and give us like 5 or 10 top tips of things that we could do to help us and our clients become a bit more, you know, aware, and what things could we do. And the fact about Starling, you know, I can share that in my my Facebook group for my clients and say, you know, did you know that Starling, this is where they invest, and this is why, you know, and they plant a tree when you open an account. We're all doing our bit, because I think it's a case that even though that's not my niche, it's definitely something that I'm interested in, but to learn more. And I think your standpoint's very much from an education point of view. And I think you could, with where you stand as a bookkeeper and in finance and as an expert in that field, and the passion that you've got for this, people want to listen, people want to learn. And I think you're just going to do so well. And I can see, like Zoe says, I can see that this spanning off because you want to ingest, you want to learn this information, and you've got it, you're ready to talk about it. I can see that more and more people are going to want to learn, how can I run a sustainable business and, you know, and make money? Because do you know what? Sometimes you do think, Yeah, exactly. But you do think, don't you? Sometimes you think, oh, if I'm environmentally friendly, is that going to impact? Is it going to cost me more, and then I'm going to take less home? Because that's what some people would think. Oh, I've got. Is it expensive to be like that? But actually, you mostly know it's not.
Absolutely not. So the initial upfront cost of being more environmentally friendly, I think, is higher. You just have to compare the price of a diesel car versus an electric car. However, in terms of globally, the long-term cost of not taking action for the climate crisis is astronomical. And and again, you can see it through the flooding and things that's been happening recently. The heat wave that we had last week, we can't sustainably live like that in the UK because none of us put air conditioning, and we all put air conditioning in, and that costs. And then the carbon impact of that means that we've got another cost. So we're at a tipping point now where we need to act. And yes, it may cost a little bit in the short term, but if you look at the long-term projection of doing that, you're going to save a fortune. And particularly, actually, Joe, with salon owners, I know that they can sign up to a green salon initiative, and I think they get paid to recycle their hair and awful things like that. But every sector can play a part, even the ones that you think maybe can't.
Sorry, go on, Joe.
I was just going to say that's so interesting, and again, the educational point of view, the things that you have, and that's what people want experts in. You've tapped into something that, unless you're in that space, you're not going to know this stuff. Unless if it's not your passion, you're not going to go and find out about all these initiatives. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, and but what people need to remember is that the reason Kathryn's so good with this is because it's her passion. So if this isn't your passion, you shouldn't go. This just needs to be it makes me feel bad that I love beauty salons. Listening to Kathryn's trying to change the world, and I just like having my nails done. I feel a bit guilty, but it's your passion is your true passion. Of an evening, and this is what I was saying in the beauty group last night. Of an evening, I watch people have pedicures, and that's what I do. That's how I chill out and relax. And that's what is it that you watch? What are your YouTube videos full of? What groups? Exactly what you said, Kathryn. What groups are you in? You're in the sustainability groups. What groups are you hanging out in? That's where you need to be. If you're mad about fashion, do fashion. I was talking to a bookkeeper the other day, and she's always exercising. She's always in gym gear. And I'm like, you need to speak to other people that are passionate about exercise and do their bookkeeping. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, you need to go out to gyms and people that are, PTs and all of that. That's because you're on that level and you can talk in their language. So this is where the magic comes in. And thank you, Kathryn. Exactly. You don't have to have every single client as a niche client. But when you're talking on social media about your passion, the other clients, they might not be there yet, but they know what you're about. So they're meeting you halfway.
And often they do. A couple have said to me, I did use a reusable cup because I knew you'd tell me off if I didn't, and things like that. And actually that makes a huge difference. Everyone using a reusable cup makes a big difference.
I love how, exactly what Joe said, this is where the magic is. So if you live and breathe the sector that your clients are in, and you can really speak their language, and we talk a lot about how do we add value to our clients. Actually, it's the little things that Kathryn's pointed out to us today that she's pointing out to her clients, or the people who want to be more sustainable. These are the things that are going to add the value. So if you really are immersed in the thing that the niche, that because it's an interest or a hobby or something you're passionate about, you pick up on these things that you can then share, that then just elevates the service that you're delivering because of these, these small things. Kathryn's going to tell me off for not having a reusable cup. That's okay. That's part of it, isn't it? And people come to know you, and it just builds a greater connection. So it's been so amazing to hear about your business, Kathryn. Thank you so much for sharing and doing your Superman pose before you joined us, so that you were able to come on. I really appreciate it. It's been really interesting to speak to you. Look, Kathryn, how can people connect with you and find out more about you?
Yeah, so the best way to connect with me is on Instagram, which is @your_local_bookkeeper, or search me on LinkedIn, Kathryn Frimond, Kathryn, and Frimond is Frimond. I'm always spelling that. Yeah, that's the best way to get in touch.
Perfect. We'll make sure we share all of that in the show notes. If you want to find out more about us, if you want to come and see Kathryn sharing her environmental tips in our Six Figure Bookkeepers Club, come and join us on Facebook in our free group. It's called the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club. I'll link in the notes to that. Thanks so much, everyone who's joined us today. Thanks, Jo. Thanks, Kathryn. We will see you next week for another podcast. Bye.